Welcome to Salk Talk. I'm your host, Margot Wall. Today, I am speaking to Elena Blanco, a postdoctoral fellow in Nicola Allen'slab. She'll be talking about her childhood in Spain, her case of California dreaming, and how she explains science at schools, bars, and gyms. But first, an introduction.
Pink hair and tattoos are not exactly the match for a neuroscientist in your head. They don't believe me sometimes. My name is Elena Blanco. I'm from Spain. So I grew up in Oviedo, which is a small-ish hometown. It's about, I think, 200,000 people living there. Yeah, I went to a mixed school, so boys and girls all together. It was a Catholic school. We had this particular teacher that she was trying to convince us that evolution wasn't the right thing. So that also happens outside the States.
Luckily, evolution was acknowledged in her high school, and she reveled in the wonders of biology.
I remember that I just thought it was amazing how life could be made just from nucleic acids and fat acids, proteins. I turned 18 and started university, and that's when I decided to study my degree in biology. I was wondering if my degree in Spain would have the same value outside Spain and these kind of things. Nobody really explains to you if you want to go and study abroad. So I had to figure everything out on my own.
Elena got her doctorate at the University of Bristol, after which she decided that California was the place for her to continue her studies as a postdoctoral fellow.
I wanted to come to California because everything that I like music-wise and literature, were from California. So I thought, well, that must be an amazing place if everything that I like is coming from there. But it didn't feel enough just to come and visit. I was like, no, I want to try and live there. I see why it's so special. I mean, anyways, it's like most of the big science is happening here. So it's not that I wanted to move to, Kentucky.
Elena studies an often overlooked cell type in our brains.
We have many different cells in our brains. It's not that we only have neurons. So what we study in our lab is astrocytes, which is another kind of brain cells that we have. And typically these astrocytes were considered just like the security guards, let's say, in our brain. So they will be protecting neurons, which are maybe the most important cells because those are the ones who communicate to each other. But a few years ago, they discovered that these astrocytes are also involved in the right development of neurons. A lot of people started studying them and considered them in terms of development of some disorders like autism or schizophrenia. One of the characteristics of these diseases is that neurons are not communicating correctly. It might be that these astrocytes are actually not helping in the way that they are supposed to. What's failing? What's the problem in this astrocytic health? The first step to know this is to know which kind of proteins astrocytes are producing and sending to neurons.
I asked Elena to take me through her typical day in and outside of the lab.
I usually get to the lab, make coffee, plan everything. I have everything written down because otherwise so many experiments, I just forget everything. I like keeping myself very busy. I don't know, I get very anxious if I have nothing to do. I'm practicing also Muay Thai. I train pretty much every weekday for 1 hour, 1.5 hours. So after work, I just go to the gym and fight. Well, I volunteer in the Science Museum in the Ruben H. Fleet in Balboa Park. I go and help with what they call the Girls Science Club. So it's for girls who are 10, 11, 12. There are some amazing girls, they are really into science.
Music is a big part of Elena's life. She spends many nights rocking out to her favorite bands at local music venues.
I used to listen to a lot of punk rock and punk pop. Then I started being more into hardcore. What some people would say noisy music. Our brains that tell us which music we're gonna like. When I was a teenager growing up and listening to that music, my parents were really annoyed all the time, asked me to turn it down or, turn it out. Very recently, I'm trying to learn to play the bass. Now, if I find people who want to jam, it'd be pretty cool, and it'd be nice to see more girl bands. I find always amusing to tell people that I'm a neuroscientist. The places that I meet people is usually these like punk rock shows or in a brewery, or for instance in the gym they are like, you're a neuroscientist, so what happens to my brain when I get knocked out? I really like to find these kind of people who are very interested and they want to know even though they are not familiar with science at all. My name is Elena Blanco.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Salk Talk. A global leader in basic research, the Salk Institute is home to an internationally renowned faculty that makes groundbreaking contributions to our understanding of aging, cancer, immunology, brain science, and more. To learn more, visit us at www.salk.edu.